Alien consciousness. Yesterday I was at the grocery store, and as I walked my cart back to my car, a pickup truck backed out of its parking spot and headed backwards right towards me. As it approached, I took the flat of my hand and banged it on the back of its box, and the truck stopped. Not in a good mood anyway, always an empathic problem when I'm out in public. I walked on. I glowered at him and the driver came over and said he didn't appreciate me hitting his truck, then told me he should have run me over, as a matter of fact next time he will. And he drove off. I didn't think to get his license plate number because I could have had him charged for issuing a death threat. I put my groceries in the car, grousing about how I have to live with people who cannot, no matter what, admit they're in the wrong or that they made a mistake, and he's one of them. This whole city is like that and I frankly hate living here. That on the heels of finding out that my 40-year-old niece is completely snowed by the lamestream narrative, and she completely believes what the government tells her. I figure she's in for a real shock when the truth finally comes out. I am disappointed, though, that I'm the only one in my family who knows the truth. But then like Ivo keeps telling me, they're not your family, we are. I've had ETS come from other star systems to tell me this truth, and my Earth family is still sitting there in the dark. So, no, I don't think they're really my family anymore. I don't relate to them at all. One thing I have to say is to all of you is be grateful you're awake. Even if you're still learning, be grateful you're not in my niece's shoes. You were chosen to know before the rest of the collective, and that was for a reason. Only you can determine what the reason is, but perhaps it's just for you to be able to spread the truth. One thing I know is that you were chosen to hold the light and to keep up the vibration of Earth, and the light and the truth are one in the same, so perhaps you have to know the truth to be able to do so. I know what today's lesson is for me, it's a lesson of ego versus soul. Do I want to be right or do I want to be peaceful? That's my choice today. I've dealt with the neighbors, they're not bothering me anymore and even the cat is behaving to a certain extent. So the dark has to find other means to try to pull me back into my ego, and the light sits and watches to see how I respond. I choose peace. I know in both cases I'm right, but I'm not about to charge someone I'll probably never see again, thank God, and make a big stink out of it, just to make a point with him. I know I'm right, but that doesn't matter. I prefer being at peace instead. What I find is that my decisions and sometimes even my reactions are different than they used to be, maybe even more alien. And not aligned with the collective thinking here on Earth. Perhaps I should feel fortunate that I have that option, to reach up higher in my consciousness to decide how to deal with things. I've had many of these lessons of choice to learn throughout my life. Be a victim or step into my power. That was a big one. Become spiritual or stay with the narrative and my ego. Learn to forgive or stay angry. Follow your soul's path for you or stay in the matrix. Now I have a new challenge, that of fully embracing my alien consciousness. I know I'm different. You may come to this point too, or maybe you're already there. Where you would feel more comfortable traveling to planets you don't remember but know you call home, instead of being here. It's a big step. Very big. One of the biggest parts of having an alien consciousness is trying to align with the truth. You watch videos about the history of Earth and want to know whether they're correct or wrong. You need to know the truth of life, what actually happened, and you want to know your own truth more than you want to continue being here on this planet with these stubborn people who won't see the truth and don't even care to. The more you try to relate to them, the more you realize you're different. And it was intended to be that way, that you would become a seeker of the truth. It's inherent in your frequency and your consciousness. People of Earth are not truth seekers. They are inherently liars because they have learned to be that way. They're confused and misled. You, being an alien consciousness, are a truth seeker because the truth is love and so are you. So you are the truth. You gravitate to the truth like a duck to water. Living in lies does not suit you. The fact that so many Earthlings are waking up now is a true miracle. They are aligning with the truth for the first time in probably many lifetimes for them. Pity for those who aren't, though. All my life I have related to people in a way that made them comfortable but me uncomfortable. I have known better all my life, that there was a better way to live. I have lived among people I thought at best dysfunctional, worst crazy, who related to their friends on the same level of insanity. I'm not comfortable compromising my values anymore. I have been approached for friendship by some highly codependent, victim mentality people, and I have just told them I'm not interested in being friends with them. I'm not interested in being part of society anymore either. I'm interested in being myself. I'm telling you this because you may be at this point already, or because it may be part of your future, but lately I relate more to being an alien consciousness than I do of being an earthling. The more time I spend in soul, the more I realize I don't fit in here and I don't want to fit in here. I never have fit in, but now that we have all the maskers running around consoling each other by saying, "We're all in this together," I realize I'm not in this with them. I'm the one who's fighting for the freedom of those who are too weak to do it themselves. I'm not going to lay down and die, I'll just keep on fighting. I have something they don't, and so do you. You're on a path of finding the truth, and of knowing yourself, but the more you get to know yourself, the more you realize you don't. Because you're from another world. It's a paradox. I'll be relying on Ivo next year to show me who I am. He already has been, but as I understand it, I have to be prepared to go back to Vega before my death. He's not saying anything right now. He's just listening to me as I write this. Probably happy I'm accepting my alienness and moving away from the earthling in me. I'll have to have him take me back home. He already has been, but I don't remember the trips. We've been together and I have a sense of him often when I wake up, but I don't actually remember what happened. Sometimes I wake up with scratches I didn't have before I went to bed and I realize I've been fighting during the night, taking on reptilians or who knows what. These scratches often happen around the solstices or higher energy gates, and Ivo tells us that's when we light warriors go out on raids. I had a nightmare a few hours ago. I was all covered in blood. I would say that this signifies a death of sorts. I was asking to go to the hospital, which is really strange because that's one place I never go. Perhaps I'm going through a sort of death of my personality. As I align more with soul, my personality diminishes in power. But the more this happens, the less I fit in, and frankly, the more absurd I find life on Earth and other people. It's not very comfortable. I prefer being alone. It's tough moving away from people you, for better or worse, have always called family. They're all I've known here, really, because everyone else was just a blur. A lesson to be learned, and then I moved on. Changed jobs a lot, so the people went with them. I never was a joiner anyway, always felt different for some reason, now I know why. This isn't just a shift in consciousness, it's about shifting the entirety of who you think you are. You get to rewrite your self-image, if you want to call it that. Me, Ivo, what are we going to do next year when we live together? Ivo, you will be spending time with us on the ships as well. You will be consciously taking part in the war against the dark, which will still be ongoing. We will teach you, my love. You will have counseling and lessons in how to master your energy. Me, oh good. All that stuff I never seem to have time for here. Ivo, and then some. Me, why do I see Yoda and Luke Skywalker? LOL, yeah, I'm Sheran Skytalker. Becoming a Jedi. Ivo, you perceive it as such, but you are to be refamiliarized with yourself. Earth took you far away from who you really are, and you have some idea of what you have done out in the galaxy as you have seen past lives and your current life as Tianya, and you understand something of yourself. Also, you will be called Tianya from now on, not Sheran. Me, works for me. I have so many names it's not funny anymore. Ivo, your consciousness is asking to be called Tianya to prepare you to go back to your fifth dimensional life with me. You simply have a different body now. The more you undergo your reintroduction to life as a vegan, the more you will remember. If you believe that you do not relate to Earth life now, then wait until next year. It will not align with you at all. This is necessary, my love, in order that you readjust to our life together again. Me, that's good. I understand. I wonder if some of the other light workers could use this. Some seem to do pretty good with embracing their higher consciousness, and some aren't even worried about where they're from. But others could use a reintroduction to the lives they left, or even their home planets if they came here between lives. Ivo, however, you are a 14th dimensional. Because of this, and because of the fact that after this lifetime, we will ascend together again, you will need to be able to access knowledge from all of these dimensions and begin to re-experience them again. We want to go home. Me, cool. Oh yes, of course. I've been studying to do this lifetime. I've been being born and studying here and there in order to prepare me for this life. Once it's over, I'm free to go back to wherever I came from. Ivo, and so am I. We are Elohim. We are the masters and on a learning path in a higher reality. Me, next year will be awesome. So it's not about acquainting Ivo with Earth and having an Earth life with him as much as it is his taking me to remember what I left behind. It's all part of the process of being born here. The more I remember, I suppose, the more there will be to pass on to you, and the more changes I can make to the collective on Earth. Ivo, correct, my dear. You retain your earthly personality to some degree for legality's sake, such as ownership of the house is in your name, but otherwise you are not of this planet. You are still part of the collective, however you will make even larger changes to it than you have to date. Me, That should be interesting. Thank you, Ivo. Ivo, now go back to bed, my love. You will no longer dream of bleeding to death. You understand what it is you need to do now, Tianya.